All right, chip of the day. People love chip of the day. This one's by Infineon. It is an FD200R12KE3. It is a single little transistor. It's a big one. It's a big one. Yeah, it's got big screw terminals. It's got a big piece of metal on the back. Looks like a heavy-duty one. Heavy-duty transistor, right? All right, what it says, the 200 in it is the giveaway. It is actually a 200 amp transistor. Yes, 200 amps, and at 1.2 kilovolts, 1200 volts. Yikes. This guy is a bruiser. So yeah, test conditions are 200 amps at room temperature 25°C. It will drop about 1.7 volts, and if it gets hot, 125 degrees C, it will drop 2 volts. Okay, so out of your 200 amps, you're going to lose, or out of your 1200 volts, you're going to lose 2 volts. I guess that's not much. Anyway, but 2 volts at 200 amps is a lot of watts. So yeah, that's why it's made so big. It gets hot. It gets hot. All right. It is called a IGBT, which is insulated gate bipolar transistor. Insulated gate, yeah, and we'll show that off too. It is insulated. And why is it called a gate if it's a bipolar transistor? Isn't that a base? So it's kind of a FET on the front of a bipolar transistor. It's kind of got a FET front end. So that's why they call it a gate. A lot of graphs and stuff in here, but let me show you the diagram of this thing. First of all, you say, oh, it's a transistor, and there's 3 terminals, so you know, collector, emitter, base, right? This must be the base. Nope. This is something else. Okay, so it's collector, emitter, and then there's this funny little tab over here, which is not the base, but the gate. Remember, it's a gate. So yeah, you can control the transistor with these 2 pins, and then you can change a lot of 200 amp current here. But what's this thing? What does this do? If the gate's over here, then what does that guy do? All right. So here is the diagram, and it is a NPN transistor. Here is the collector. Here is the emitter. So 1 is collector, 2 is emitter. What is 3? 3 is that other big jubber. Well, there's just a diode that goes between 1 and 3. It's just an extra diode that doesn't seem to do anything. Why is there an extra diode in there? This doesn't make sense. Why do I have an extra diode in there? Okay, and then here's the floating gate. And we have an extra emitter connector. So 7 and 2 are wired together. Let me draw it a different way. Okay, so here it is. And yeah, the current goes through here, and you can control it here. That's why they bring out the extra line here, so you can put a voltage across the gate to emitter voltage. It wants like 15 volts to switch that whole 200 amps. So you put 15 volts across here, and then you can switch. But there's this other funny diode over there that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's talk about how you might use this thing. Okay. One of the big use cases for these is running motors. Okay, so we'll ground this, and up here we'll put a big motor up to our plus V. Okay, so here's our big motor, right? And so we can 200 amps, man, we can go, right? Make your Tesla go or whatever. I'm not sure what transistors Tesla has in them, but anyway. Whenever you run inductive load, so let's say you pull this thing down, and then suddenly you say, oh no, we got to stop, and you let go of the transistor. You want this thing to stop really, really fast, and it's going to have, if you have 200 amps going this direction, you let go of it, it's going to have like 200 amps going in that direction. It's going to like spike voltages, and you want to be able to clamp this thing down. So this is called a clamping diode, And the way that you would use it is you would just tie it to the top here, okay? So this puts a diode across the inductor. You'll see a lot of this like in relays. When you drive a relay, they always have a little diode in there to protect your transistor from the kick of the relay. So just think of this as a 200 amp relay. And this is a diode, a clamping diode, right? A snubber. So, but it can be a lot of amps, right? You're pulling 200 amps here into this huge inductor with a big motor flywheel. Well, you can kick back a lot of current. You can kick back a lot of current, like 200 amps worth the other direction. And so your diode needs to be just as healthy as your transistor. So if this can handle 200 amps, that better be able to handle 200 amps. So they put them in the same package, and they put them on these nice big, you know, terminals. So yeah, so 200 amps in the other direction that's what that thing is for. Okay, so that's how it works, and I say we go ahead and turn it on. All right. Now I don't have 200 amps, and if you do run it at 200 amps, you would need a really big heat sink. I think Mike said something like this had like a 21-pound heat sink on it or something. A big heat sink. You can imagine, right? It's like operating a train or something. Big, lots of current. So let's hook this thing up. I made some test cables. So I've got these test cables here that have these nice big lugs on this side, and they have. So we'll put the positive one over here. Put the negative one in the middle, and we will screw these down. Now, I don't have 200 amps, but I have 1/10 of that. I've got 20 amps, so we will see if this can handle 20 amps, okay? And because it's only 1/10, I believe I'll run it without a heatsink. We'll see how toasty this gets just with 20 amps, okay? We'll just test it just like this. All right, I'm gonna use my power supply here, which is good for 20 amps. And we'll hook up the negative here and the positive here. So this will be our electronic load, 20 amp electronic load for the power supply. And we will have it set here to 12 volts at 20 amps. 12 volts at 20 amps. Let's see if it can do it, okay? So I need a test control signal. So here it is. Let's put it here at 15 volts. And let's see, 7 and 8. 7 is ground. 7 and 6. 6 is the gate. So we'll turn our power supply on. We're drawing 0 amps. And now we're drawing 20 amps. All right. So yeah, we are drawing 12 volts, or actually 1.18 volts. So that's the clamping voltage of the transistor. So it's only dropping 1.18 volts at 20 amps. And we've gone into current compliance. Current compliance up there in the upper left on the power supply. We're generating 20 amps. 20 amps into a pretty robust transistor. So let me feel the back of the transistor. It's about my temperature. I feel it's starting to get just a little bit above my body temperature. Not much, not much. So let's just let it sit here for a while and see if we can't get it to heat up a little bit, a tiny bit. All right, it's been a while. I'll put my finger on the back here. Yeah, it's barely warm. But let's go ahead and show you some IR imaging here. So, yeah, there we go. Max temperature of 27°C. Yeah, not much. Not much. Yeah, On the end here, 28C. Yeah, not much. Not much. Yeah, see, the wires are getting warm. The wires are warm. But the transistor's pretty cool. Yeah, that's fun. Let's look at the back side here. Yeah, see the... It's just kind of in between there. That's pretty cool. Literally. Okay. All right, I like it. Okay, so now watch up here. I'm going to disconnect my power supply, and it's still 20 amps. There's enough capacitance on the gate that it just holds it on. And if I just use my finger and I short the two out with my finger, there we go, whoop, goes to 0 amps. So it takes very, very, very little bit of current for that gate input for these things. So it's definitely isolated. I think you could stick your tongue on there and maybe it's a bad idea, but you could turn it on and off. All right, that was chip of the day, an FD200R12KE3.